prime example of no matter how much you love a man, no matter how much a man loves you, please have your own. Hey honeys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome. What took you so long? Okay, so we're back already with another review. Love and Marriage Huntsville. We are at episode 8. Episode 8, y'all. Let me just pause right now and thank y'all so much for your support and your response, your engagement to my last upload. Y'all came in with the views and the likes. Don't be afraid to comment, y'all. Thank y'all so much. I always want to hear your feedback, your response. Anyway, thank y'all so much for your response. It means so much because you are, you know, helping get this video and push this video out to different audiences and to different people, and we're finding our community. Oh, and thank y'all so much for 1,000 subscribers, supporters, the C Squad, honeys. Thank you for 1,000 honeys today. So let's get right into it. We come into episode 8, and we begin this episode with Martell. He's at his rental property, or he's at the house that he owns, this rental, whatever it is. He's at his property. And Chris Fletcher is meeting him. Martell's got his tape measure. Martell has got his tape measure. Tape measurer. Martell got his tools. Anyway, so it's like, what's up, my boy? What's up, Telly? Who? So anyway, they coming in, you know, they're greeting one another. What's up, Telly? And they're catching up. What you got going on? Well, I'm here. He's talking about how he asked him if he was staging the property. He's like, no, actually, I'm moving my girl and her kids in. And Chris, let me tell y'all, Chris he's funny. Like, Chris is the uncle that just don't take no mess. Like, he done got too old for the mess. For the games. He looked at Martell. He's like, you finna move in with her? And, you know, Martell's like, no, you know, I'm not moving in with her until, you know, I'm ready to marry her, blah, blah, blah. So they go into that conversation, which, okay. And Chris Fletcher in his confessional is like, hey, look, Martell, they got a baby together. Kudos to him, whatever. Of course, you know, they would be remiss if they did not talk about Martell and Marceau. Martell is still caping for himself, okay? He wants everybody to see how it's Marceau who is wrong, who started all this mess, and he is only retaliating, but he not gonna let up unless Marceau admits that he was wrong. That's legit, ultimately what Martell's fight is. Like, they keep going across the same thing, you know, all the drama in the past, whatever. It's pride. Chris Fletcher is fighting to understand, like, what the problem really is, like we all are. And he said what we all are thinking. He said, y'all acting like two little girls fighting. And that's the male version. That's the sanctified version I gave y'all. You gotta call a spade sometimes. You feel me? Martell wants an apology, I suppose. It's like he's willing to accept his part, but he doesn't feel like his part is as big as Marceau's. And Chris Fletcher is just like, hey, whatever. So then we move on over into Ken having a conversation with his friend, Will. You feel me? We dig deeper into what's going on with their relationship right now. Now, several people, I've seen several comments that have implied that this is just storyline, like they're not broken up right now. I've even seen some things that say that they are together right now in this moment, perhaps. But I'm just going according to what we see on the show, y'all. Always remember that I'm not too tapped into what's going on live. I'm not that type of commentator. I don't get down like that, I don't think. He is explaining to Will that they have had like this big blow up. Apparently there was an event where Ken went live and they had like this power session of lifting, and Trish comes through with this attitude, and it kind of changes the mood, like the whole vibe for the rest of the night for his boys and just the house all together. So he took it upon himself to address it. Apparently there's this big blow up behind it, and yes, that big blow up paired with the fight with Marquez was enough to make Ken have to go back to the drawing board concerning his relationship with Trish. And I think this is where everyone has kind of wanted you to be, you know? So I think his eyes are opening, and shout out to Ken. Now, once again, he is talking about his responsibility for the, you know, livelihood of the household. Like, if I go, you know, that's it. You're going to have to realize that. I think it comes off as bragging, but I don't truly believe that he wants to come off as bragging. I think he's just putting all the facts out there. Like I'm responsible for a lot of. He has opened his eyes to the fact that, dang, it's me who has kept this whole thing alive. I think she knows that that's a reality too. That's why she's still there. But I think he's actually truly beginning to realize that perhaps you're just being tolerated, buddy, for what you offer. And so I don't think he's being fair. I think he realizes that that's his draw card for Trish. So he dangles it in her face right now. That's what he's doing. But like I said, his eyes are open. So he playing his hand. Him playing his hand is dangling that in her face. If you're over it, just be over it. Let it go, partner. I hope whatever your heart's desire works out for you, my boy. Will is asking all the right questions. Shout out to Will. Will is like, have you ever just asked her what's going on in her life? And I think that's a fair question. Like, you know, we have, as humans, we naturally expect people to show up the way that we would, or the way that we expect them to. And sometimes we expect it without actually voicing it. And the harsh reality is we have to teach people how to treat us. Well, I'm not a therapist. And Will said, well, actually you are when you sign on as a boyfriend. Now, here's the thing. I understand what he meant by that, but the truth is, no, Ken is not her therapist. He can be her support system. He can show up as a boyfriend in that capacity, or fiance, or whatever, what have you, whatever they want to call it. He can show up as her partner, you know, but he is not medically trained or educated to show up as a therapist, while he simultaneously figures out life for himself. And the reality of if he's going to have to figure out life by himself or with her and her children. So I get him when he's saying, look, I ain't no therapist. And when I ask you what's going on, talk to me. That is fair. That's kind of the gist of that conversation. Then we move on to one of my favorite scenes. The daddy-daughter scene with Marceau and his oldest daughter. They are getting a pedicure, and it is so cute. I love those moments. This is coming from somebody who, I'm indeed a mama's girl, but I was also a daddy's girl. I love my daddy, so I live for those moments. I thought it was so cute. So they're catching up. Of course, they're just having a moment, you know, bonding. He talks about how he always has those moments with both of his girls, whether it's them together or individually. And I think that is so important for parents to do, moms and dads, just to get to know your children. They're changing every single day, but having a true bond with your children so that they are comfortable enough to rely on you, to lean into you, talk to you, ultimately. They touch a few points. Apparently, she has a boyfriend, and it's obviously that's a cringy subject for Marceau, but I can appreciate the fact that he's still supportive. He's going to meet the boyfriend, or maybe he has met the boyfriend, and he played a game with her. He was like, take a drink or a sip if you have, what did he say? If you hugged your significant other, take a sip if you have, I don't know what else he asked, but I was like, all right. That was a very clever way of getting in her business, and I like that. I appreciate that. I think I enjoyed that. Those are the moments that the viewers need. We need some positivity, okay? So thank y'all so much for that. We need to see the representation of families and households and dads and moms and just real world topics. So they get onto the topic of Tisha. He asks her to describe who Tisha is to her as a mom, and I think it's beautiful. She basically can see that her mom is like she's the foundation. Hey, whatever we say a kid is, that's what Tisha is 2.0. Tisha is a super mom. She runs her household very well, and logistically she is what keeps them running and going, and she can acknowledge that. Her daughter can acknowledge that, and I honor that. That's great. That's amazing. He also goes on to talk about how he really is affirming her, and that is so important. I love this, y'all. I can't tell y'all enough how much I love this scene. He talks to her about how easy it is to be a parent to her. Not necessarily that being a parent is easy, but she's a great kid. She is an awesome daughter. She listens. She does her chores. She's responsible. She's a 4.0 scholar. Things like that. So she makes this easy, and he is proud to be her dad. He's proud of her as a person. And he also has said, you know, by the same token, life will come at you, but no matter what happens in life, good or bad, I'm your dad. I'm gonna always be there for you. And there's nothing you can do to make me stop loving you. Y'all, that is amazing. Listen, my baby is just a little young one, and I tell him that every single day because I truly mean it. I want him to know that. Like, I appreciate that. And so many people don't get that. So I think that's wonderful. Hope that, you know, sows a seed into so many families and challenges people to, you know, keep showing up that way or to start showing up that way. Beautiful. She is so sarcastic like her dad. So you gonna say good things about mom or not say nothing bad about mom in therapy. I don't know if that means they take family therapy or what, but she was like, nah, I'm gonna talk about you. And he's like, what? What you gonna say about me? Like, how much money is it gonna take? And listen, with the smile on her face, I know she be deep in Marcel pockets. Okay? As you should, girl. Coming from somebody who got my first cell phone at like 7 years old. Go, girl. Do it. Do it big. So mushy gushy and lovely. I enjoyed it. So then we move on to the next scene, which is Trish, Destiny, and her friend. I can't remember Trish's friend, which is just as well. But anyhow, I'm sorry, Lord. I'm sorry. This scene was so vexing. It's a vexing scene. It is. So they get together. They're catching up. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? And I don't pay much attention, I'm sorry, to some of these parts. But the general consensus of this scene is Destiny is asking, how's everything going? And the friend, let me just tell y'all, the friend talks too much. I'm going to lead with that. And that's why, you know, some friends up, y'all are getting too bold. Like, don't give more than what you have to in that role. Unless you're trying to get on full time. Just be cool. Trish is a very evasive person, ultimately. But Destiny is asking, like, what's going on? What's up? Trish, I think she admits that they have broken up. She's like, yeah, we on a break right now. Destiny is shocked, like, what? Hold on, I thought y'all was all good. And she's like, so y'all at the house or something? And she's like, yeah, he at home. Trish is like, well, he's at Will's. And the friend goes, she act like that when she don't want people to know the truth. And I'm like, girl, here you go again. You know, I understand it. Why you put your friend out there, girl? I shut up. They get into that, and here are some things, some red flags about this conversation, this lunch, dinner, or whatever it was, that rubbed me the wrong way. Number one, like I said, the friend talks too much, but she said some things that needed to be said. Trish gets into the fact that she ultimately said that she likes to get her lick back in relationships. When she blows up with Ken, it turns out so big, but she have to do that because she's automatically offensive and she comes from so much trauma. And apparently when Ken go off, he go hard and he get real aggressive. Now she said that, but the friend also said some buzzwords that made me go, wait a minute, is everything okay at home? The friend said something like, you know, he's aggressive and they fighting and this, that, and the other. And Trish, she didn't look up, but she said something like, I ain't fighting him. Like, I'm not fighting. And I'm like, are you sure? Because when she said that, it seemed like they cut it, but the friend might have looked at her like, whatever she said. I can't remember exactly what she said, but if I do remember enough to say it, I'm going to put it in quotes down here. Now, here's Destiny. Destiny can't believe it. I will say that Destiny shows up as a friend to everybody in this cast. And by that, I mean, maybe she asked the right questions too, but she always tries to show somebody where they could have done something a little differently and a little better. I don't know if she follows her own advice, but one thing about it, she gonna try to be the voice of reason. She was like, listen, well, I believe that y'all can work anything out. And Trish is like, what? She notices it. It's in Trish's face. And she's like, hold on, Trish, you can't look like that. Fight for it. And Trish is like, no, because he came back and we had this argument and he was like, give me all my stuff that I bought. And my son came downstairs and he gave him the car keys. And that, when I saw my son do that, that was the last straw for me. Okay, girl. That's the prime example of no matter how much you love a man, no matter how much a man loves you, please have your own. Because you're not throwing nothing in my face. Baby, I can get it myself. Don't worry about it. You can have it. She says she don't want her child exposed to that, I guess. But Lord have mercy, y'all have exposed those children to so much already. Trish was leaning on her son, and the friend was like, well, he finna go. You know, the son he matters, but he's grown. He got to live his own life. Here's the thing. The friend makes so much sense. She almost sounds like a handler. Like, Trish has a hard time speaking up for herself. I don't know if that's a defense mechanism or if she just really, you know, I don't know. Trish kind of looked at her like, girl, who you talking to? Like, you saying too much. All right now. That's kind of the look that she gave her. Although she kind of told the truth. I think ultimately, Trish just don't want to be, I don't think Trish, she likes the safety of her relationship with Ken, but I don't think she just really wants to, I don't know that she wants to really be in a relationship right now. I think she wants to heal. She's just okay with how things are. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, perhaps. And finally, let's wrap this up. There is Marceau and Martell. Why they had to have a sit down? Why these girls had to, I'm sorry. Marceau, one thing about it, he gonna keep his poker face as it relates to Martell. Martell ain't gonna see him break. They get down, hey, my boy, what's up? How's everything going? Martell goes right into it. He just said he wanted to get some clarity. He was hoping that they came today and that Marceau had made up his mind to take responsibility for what he had, you know, what part he had in the demise of their friendship, in the statements that he made about Ariane. He was hoping that Marceau apologized. So I'm expecting you to apologize, and then I can apologize, and we can just say we're not going to do nothing else moving forward. And Marceau is like, my boy, I'm not apologizing, number one. He didn't say that. But he said, also, I'm not in a space where I need an apology from you, Martell, because I know that this is your character. This is what you do. These are your patterns. You're going to do this again. So an apology is unnecessary. However, moving forward, no, I don't have to speak negatively about you. I don't have to speak negatively about you moving forward. Let's just move on. First, they rehashed their friendship in the past. Martell is trying, you know, to remind Marceau that he's been a good friend to him. And Marceau brings out some good points. Sometimes he's like, listen, for a set amount of time, for so many years, I did experience you as a good friend. However, in the past 7 years, you have not been a good friend to me. And I get what he's saying. Like, I know this, Martell, but what I see right now is not who I have experienced in the past. So I can only meet you according to what you're showing me now. And right now you're showing me, listen, boy, my boy, listen. We got to go our separate ways, partner. Whether I cheated on my wife or not, until that's proven, no, I have not. And I can't sit with you. Can't sit with us. What are the other? That's what it gives. Martell struggles with letting a lot of things go. I don't think he realizes how dumb Marceau really is. So I think they had an impasse, and it's like, listen, we just gonna move on. It's like, hey, moving forward, Don't talk about mine and I won't talk about yours. For this episode, I would rate it a 7. It was pretty good. My favorite moment, of course, top moment was definitely the daddy-daughter moment. The next moment, I would probably have to give that to Ken and Will. Then I would give it to, surprisingly, I would give it to Trish and Destiny and her friend. So that's all I have for this episode. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this episode and what you would rate it. What part of this week's episode was your favorite? And as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. If you have not subscribed, I hope you would do so and turn on that notification bell so that you never miss an update or a short, which I update every single day. I love y'all so much, honeys. Peace and blessings.